Yeah, Walker and Robertson will come in, and yeah, we'll have a look at Warnock as well. So yeah, it looks like he could be right. So that will give us maybe Cruiser in the forward line or something like that. But yeah, we'll have a look at that. So Jamison won't play, and yeah, so we'll have to find a replacement there. Watson might be an option for us as well. No, we've seen what he did off a long spell when he played Fremantle first up over there. So his fitness has never been an issue. You know, he's one of the athletes that you could say would get through or could play at least 85%. So I think we could manage his time to make sure that he gets through, I suppose, at least fatigued as possible, and so that doesn't hurt him for the following week. But I think we can manage him. He was close to playing last week, but it was just a big risk if he redid it. That was the end for him. So we had to make sure that he was right to go. It does get, you know, when you think of the season and where it's at, I think these selections and any selection that you make is about risk versus reward when they're coming back from injury as well. So we'll go through and have a look, you know, at the boys train today and that. But yeah, Walker will play for sure. Robertson will play. We just got to make a call on a couple of others. I think we just worry about what happens each week, and I know it's a boring old cliche, as Jace would say, but yeah, that's the reality for us. We've got Brisbane. You know, we're just going to concentrate on them, and whatever else happens around us, we'll have to deal with that after the event. But we've got Brisbane first up. You know, Brown looked in really good touch, so you know we'll have to make sure that we control him. Yeah, I think there's some of the things that you put in place, and we have really from, I suppose, the Port Adelaide game, and you know, making sure that we don't waver from that, you know, regardless of where we are on the ladder or what we, you know, if our expectations on each other sort of diminish, I think that, you know, allows you to play poor footy, or, you know, some of the behaviours that you don't want to see out in the field, or how we want to be perceived or respected as a football team, you open yourself up for criticism. So I think they're the things that we can't waver from at all. I've been a lot firmer, I suppose, internally, not just with the players but with the staff as well, to make sure that those, as we just spoke about, the expectations don't waver. So I think we all have a responsibility of making sure that, you know, when it becomes testing times or through adversity, do you just, you know, take your eye off the football, or, you know, oh, it doesn't matter so much, or those types of questions that might hop into your head. We don't waver, and I drive that. I'm the leader of the football team and the club on the footy side of things, so I can't change and accept those behaviours, whether we're at the top of the ladder or at the bottom of the ladder. I need to be the driver of that, and I won't change whether it's players or staff. Oh, maybe just more in the meetings, or just, you know, just across the board. I think just making sure that, you know, we're ticking every box, and we don't, you know, it's getting closer to the end of the season. What's going to happen? Those types of things. I think we need to make sure that we don't take our eye off the football, and we concentrate on the things that we can control. And that's your area, or as the players, their performance. Oh yeah, it's more just it's more just to, I suppose, challenge them too in the season. It's not, it's nothing that's changed or nothing that's new. It's just more about making sure that across the board we tick every box. And I don't want to make it to the end of the season and say, ooh, we could have done that better. I think acting now instead of, it's, you know, football can be, you know, really, I suppose it's a little bit grey in certain areas, that you can be really good reviewers after the event. Oh, we should have done this, but it's actually doing it now and right here before the events actually happen. And I want to make sure that we make every post a winner that we can control, and that's a challenge that coaches have throughout the competition, not just me. Oh, well, I think we put up the reality scale in, did we have injuries and all those things? Yeah, we'll have a look at that, and we'll go through that, and we have, you know, we've done that through the break and had a look. So if they're the facts, we can't, you can't shy from the facts. If you've had a huge amount of injuries on that, you've got to actually look at it and say they are the facts. But then from a team performance, okay, what did we do on the field with that personnel? Then we actually have to look at that. So I think it's not just one way or the other to say, no, you failed because of you didn't make top four, or, you know, we had injuries as an excuse. I think there's a combination of it, and I think actually going back and reviewing on when and how our season panned out is pretty critical in regards to who was available, how we played, and what the result was. I think it's been very good. I think he's a really good kid developing. I thought he was off his game a little bit early last week, the first quarter, but outside that I thought he was very good. He's one that's progressing really well, and the way he plays the game, he's quite solid. He can get the ball a little bit, maybe not, not over the top because he's doing such a good defensive job on his opponent. So I think there's a lot of upside in him in the next few years in his own football, and I think his own belief is starting to get there. About that's the big challenge for kids. I think a lot of kids in the competition have good talent, but it's a belief. Can they make it? Oh, jeepers, I'm standing beside that bloke who's played 50 games or 100 games. Can I match it with him? I think that's the big thing that holds kids back in the competition is their own belief. Now, I think he's one that might not have got a look in if Laidler and co were there. I think Bell's in the same boat, and Casbolt's shown that he can play as well. So there's three stories from adversity that we've found some players, and McLean's no doubt his opportunity as a senior player has been, I suppose, with Judd's suspension, he's got that opportunity as well. We've got things in place which there's nothing new or different in these last from the halfway mark. So we won't change that. The players know where they sit when they have the opportunity to maybe have a drink or not have a drink, and we can control that. So if players go outside those expectations, it'll be dealt with, but it'll be dealt with on an individual basis. I think there's different circumstances for different cases. So I couldn't tell you what we'd do, but I could tell you we'd sit down with the player, go through everything, and then we'd make a decision from there. No, we haven't it this year, and our players know where 6-day turnarounds and opportunities sit too. I think it's I think everything's okay with a balance, and we've got to allow players to go out at certain times. But depending on how your schedule is, I know that one period there we had 4 games in 18 days. Well, there was no drinking through that part of the season. I think it's just where opportunities, if they want to go out and have a good time. There's also how far you go with a good time, but I think we give the players that opportunity. There's no doubt about why the window's there for finals. We'll be pushing as hard as we can to achieve that. I think the supporters should be rapt to see some of the kids come through and play the way they're playing, knowing that we're going to get some players back, whether it's at the end of this year or it's next year. We're going to get those players back. So the future looks really bright when you consider that at the start of the year, who was Tommy Bell? Andy McGuinness was playing 2s, but he was just going. Levi Casbolt they'd seen through finals, but wasn't sure. I think some of those players are players that are in the I suppose our plans for next year as well. So I think that's really encouraging for our supporters.